It is a sight you'll see all over California during fire season, literally all over, but maybe not for long. Tonight, we're digging into the battle to ban aerial fire retardant.
It's beyond ironic that the Forest Service is violating the Clean Water Act.
We're having enough trouble repopulating paradise without taking away something that's really going to make people feel better.
Plus, President Biden is in the Bay Area tonight. The environmental announcement he brought with him that could help our seaside state weather climate change. And 6 injured in a rolling gun battle near Fisherman's Wharf on Father's Day. Hear from a man who saw it all unfold.
And so I hit the ground, and then everyone else all of a sudden here just started running and panicking.
And the first domino falls in the Warriors' offseason. Will a big decision by Draymond Green break up the team's big three?
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Hello. It helped in the battle against the deadly campfire in Paradise, but the future of a critical firefighting tool now in question, just as the fire danger just begins to heat up. So we saw a couple of brush fires erupt over the weekend, one at Lake Cunningham Park in San Jose on Sunday, and the other in the Pope Valley area of Napa County. Within an hour of that fire breaking out Friday, we saw crews making aerial retardant drops all over it. So the pinkish fire suppressant is a familiar sight during California's fire season. But it very nearly may not have been this year. Kelsey Thord reports on the legal battle to get it banned from a town still rebuilding from that fire that flattened it nearly 5 years ago.
Walking through the town of Paradise today, Jim Brashears can still tell you exactly what it looked like close to 5 years ago now on the day the campfire tore through.
This road was basically a parking lot for about 3 hours, or a very slow moving line of cars. And everybody was trying to get out. The other main routes out of the town were all blocked by fire, so they were stuck here. They ended up having to drive, as many people have seen, through fire in order to get out, particularly below the town limit.
Jim was the director of the Emergency Operations Center at that time and was one of the first in town to realize the fire was spreading rapidly.
There was fire just everywhere you can imagine. There were spots dropping, embers dropping out of the sky, starting new fires. There were probably thousands of fires actually made up the campfire in the town of Paradise.
85 people were killed in the flames, making it the deadliest wildfire in California's history. But Jim says it could have been even worse if not for the use of aerial fire retardant.
I'm certain that the retardant in the Chico area made a huge difference in their ability to contain the fire and keep it out of the community entirely. I mean, I don't know how they could possibly have kept it entirely out of the community without the resources like aircraft.
That is why so many people in town have been keeping a close eye on a lawsuit involving the use of retardant. Last year, a group called the Forest Service Employees for Environmental Ethics sued the U.S. Forest Service, saying the use of aerial fire retardant pollutes nearby waterways and violates the Clean Water Act. Andy Stahl is the executive director of the FSEEE.
It's beyond ironic that the Forest Service is violating the Clean Water Act, because water is number one. That's the Forest Service's number one priority under the law, but they've been ignoring the Clean Water Act for decades.
Andy says the chemicals in fire retardant can kill fish and contaminate drinking water. He also doesn't believe the retardant is as critical of a firefighting tool as the U.S. Forest Service makes it out to be.
You have catastrophic fires year in and year out. You have hundreds of homes lost. And why is that? I mean, if retardant were so effective, why do you lose homes?
But those who've lived through fires, like Greg Bolin, the mayor of Paradise, say taking away the use of retardant would not only put more lives at risk, but it also won't stop nearby waterways from being polluted by all the runoff from burned down buildings.
What's going to happen with the soot and ash and everything that, it's going into the waterways, and it's absolutely polluting those waterways? You can't keep it out. There's no way. In this town, we had 18,000 homes and businesses destroyed. There's no way you can stop that from happening.
In May, a federal judge ruled on the lawsuit, saying the Forest Service can continue to keep using aerial fire retardant for now. But the judge also acknowledged the use of it did violate the Clean Water Act. In a statement, the U.S. Forest Service said it, quote, appreciated the court's recognition of the important public safety issues involved in the litigation. It says it is committed to the Clean Water Act and is working with the EPA to get a permit that would allow for the future use of retardant without breaking the law. Andy with the FSEEE says he's happy with that outcome.
Well, it's going to absolutely keep the Forest Service from dumping this crap directly into the rivers and streams. That will be the result of the permitting process. Otherwise, the permit itself won't be legal.
Folks like Jim Brashear say they are happy the judge's ruling allows for the continued use of aerial retardant for now, but they're also worried the FDA permitting process will ultimately hinder its use in the coming years.
It's really scary, the potential of the ruling, the potential that we could lose that resource, because right now we're having enough trouble repopulating Paradise without taking away something that's really going to make people feel better about, and should feel better about, being able to move back.
Even now, close to 5 years after the Camp Fire, Jim says many people in town remain scared another could come through any day. He says this lawsuit has flamed those fears, but town officials are committed to keeping the waterways clean while also doing everything they can to make sure people feel safe.
Live look now at San Francisco's Fairmont Hotel, where President Biden will be spending the night ahead of a day of campaign fundraising tomorrow. He did a little bit of this afternoon and evening as well, with events in Los Gatos and another happening in Atherton right now. We got some video of his motorcade arriving just around 5 o'clock. He also did some of the people's business during his visit in the Bay Area earlier in Palo Alto. He announced a $600 million investment in coastal communities to protect against rising sea levels and storms.
We're investing in the people and places that have been hit the hardest, but who are also on the front lines of leading us forward.
The president also announced a $2 billion investment to modernize the electric grid to be more climate resilient. $67 million of that will be here in California. Another big story we're following this evening, word of at least one arrest in the rolling gun battle past one of San Francisco's busiest tourist attractions. No official word from police, but a city supervisor tells us a second person has also been detained. It happened right in front of Pier 39 yesterday evening, sending people ducking for cover during the Father's Day dinner rush. 3 bystanders were hit by flying glass. A little girl was hit by one of the cars as she and another girl walked their bikes across the street. And at least 2 suspects were shot. Our Wilson Walker spoke with a witness who saw it all.
It was a shootout in one of the busiest stretches of the city. There were plenty of tourists here and plenty of people who work here every day. They could not believe what they were seeing.
It sounded like fireworks, right? And I saw a car on the other side of the street and a hand outside with a pistol, right? And they were shooting, and I couldn't tell, like, it was all really fast.
Thomas Rodinko had just picked up a double fare when he heard the shots, looked up and saw the gunfire.
And basically the hand was just shooting at them, right? And so then I realized, like, oh, that's like a drive-by, that's not firecrackers. And so I hit the ground, and then everyone else all of a sudden here just started running and panicking. Like, you just saw everyone kind of run inside.
Yeah, it was scary. I was like, I've never seen that many people come running like that before in my life. So I hope everybody's okay.
Also in the scattering crowd, longtime war fixture Kenny the Clown. He, like others who earn a living here, say the violence comes as a total shock.
But yeah, it's scary. No, nothing like that's ever happened out here. I've been out here for about 20 years.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, right here. Yeah, right here. Main tourist destination.
I mean, it's important to note that when it comes to violent crime, it's actually low historically in San Francisco, but incidents like this are very unnerving.
Supervisor Joel Engardio says the chase and shooting that stretched down the Embarcadero for about a mile is more evidence that San Francisco needs to increase its police staffing. He also says these types of high-profile crimes need a high-profile response.
People rightfully so feel unsafe because it just shouldn't happen, period. And we need to do more to send a signal that it's not acceptable in San Francisco, that we are going to vigorously arrest and prosecute anyone who's causing mayhem on our streets.
And Sunday's mayhem definitely cast a shadow over Pier 39 on what would have otherwise been a perfect holiday Monday.
I mean, I don't think it's like an unknown fact, but San Francisco's been having a lot of problems. Stores closing down, and there's like, it's kind of dangerous in the inner city, but this place has been kind of insulated from all of that.
A little bit more on the investigation. We're told the suspect is not from San Francisco. They are from Pittsburgh. We're also told that police are confident that more arrests are going to come, so the investigation is ongoing.
Wilson, thank you. Coming up, Draymond Green chooses to enter free agency, but it doesn't close the door on his recent return to the Warriors.
Even if he thought that door was closed, it'll probably blow back open today with breezy conditions across the Bay Area. 54 miles an hour on top of Mount Diablo, 51 mile an hour gust at Ocean Beach. Tomorrow, not quite as windy, still noticeable. Details coming up in the First Alert forecast.